Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Namaha Hari Om. Hello everyone. So we're continuing our satsang tonight, not with the Ramayana, unfortunately, as we all love to hear the Ramcharitmanas and the Chalpas. Today we'll be looking at question and answers. And the questions that we have are very relevant to everyday life, and that's the way I like to keep them, especially for the younger people and older people alike. When we hear relevant questions that are steeped in Vedanta, we end up being the best we can be. Why? Because doubts are clarified, yeah? So the first question I have here is, if everything is predetermined, what is the role of karma? Okay, good question. Okay, you don't necessarily have to know who wrote the question, that's fine. But understand what the word karma means. All of you understand? What does karma mean? All of us think that karma is karma phala, which are the results of action. This is kind of incorrect. Karma by itself means action. That's all it means, okay? Now, in this question, we see the role of destiny versus free will, okay? Where we come from before this current point of time, right? This is what adds up to our destiny. For example, all of you climbed into your cars, you drove here, and you ended up at Chinmaya Rameshwaram. Isn't that true?
Yes.
This was your gati, or this was your destiny based on what? Previous actions. Does that make sense? So whatever we did from time immemorial to now adds to your current situation in life, whether it be good or bad. Now, the question is, how does free will fit into the picture? How does karma or your current action fit into free will? It is this. Whatever we did lands us here. Whatever we do from this point in time, and no matter how bad a person we are, no matter how bad a person we think we are in the past, whatever we do from now will add to a brighter future or a not so bright future. This choice that you have at the current moment is what is called free will, right? Or purusha artha. Right? That doesn't only mean dharma, artha, kama, moksha. It means what you do at this current time with some sort of effort. Okay? So that is how karma fits into if everything is predetermined. Okay? Alright. Did you understand the definition between? Yeah.
Is it the Sanchit karma and Agami?
So Sanchit karma is there, which is the sum total of all karmas, right? And then from that comes what? Prarabdha. Yes. So Prarabdha came from what? Previous actions that are collected in Sanchita. And then Agami karma is what? Future karma phalas based on your current day action. Okay? And Puja Gurudev always used to say, right, when people used to stretch his hand out to say, "You're a Swami, read my palm," right? That's the most textbook and popular phrase for any Swami. When they go into a train or something, the first thing is people want to know what's in the palm. Gurudev always used to say, your destiny is in your own hands. That's the thing. Destiny is in your own hands. You have the power every day to change your destination. Okay? Alright. Next question. How to identify bad company beforehand? Okay, that's the first question. With electronic, digital lifestyle currently, children, high school and so on are playing video games after school and justify that their friends are playing it also, so they should. How to limit this? Okay? How to get them to read books and do things that people usually do before video games, yeah? So, how to identify bad company beforehand? What you have to be, and this is geared again to the youngsters, what you have to be is tremendously vigilant. Can you say that word for me?
Vigilant.
Vigilant means aware of your surroundings, aware of your thoughts, aware of the people around you, and aware of the places that you want to go. Okay? So when you identify people, right, do your research. As we saw in Ramcharitmanas, what did Lord Shiva do? He contemplated. He studied the personalities of the people that were around him. He didn't only say what? I'm going to be your friend.
let's go what's the word? Happy-go-lucky into life. No, gone are the days when you can do that. We can't trust people like that these days, right? Or else you land into big trouble. So what you do is, you have to do your homework on people. Study their personalities. Study where they go. Study who their friends are. What is the most famous phrase? Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. So if you can do this, do a little homework on the person before you get involved with any friendship, then you'll be saving yourself, right? And when it comes to electronic devices, we live in age of Kali Yuga, the dark ages. And honestly, it's because of things like this. Nowadays, look what kids are playing. Video games where people are blowing each other's brains out, for lack of a better word. Yeah? We have to, as parents, I'm not a parent, but if I was a parent, I can tell you, we have to really control what our kids are looking at and what our kids are playing behind closed doors. Why? Because they are most influenced, not by us these days, but by the people they're surrounded with. How many hours a day? 9 to 10 hours. And that's in school, that's where? On the internet. Because you know these video games, they're played over the net. So a person that's 10 million miles away in Mars, you're actually playing, what's that game called?
Hello.
Danny, what's that? Halo, yes. Halo, okay? Or what's it? Art of War or something like that. Gone are the days where people are playing Super Mario. Okay, Super Mario Brothers by themselves in their room. No, they don't do that anymore. You see? So this is the thing. We must be tremendously vigilant. We are in control over the youngsters. They shouldn't be control over their lives yet. Okay? Especially if they live under your roof. So you must be a friend first, no doubt. But also try your best to monitor what they're doing. I told you about the situation in New York, right? About the 6-year-old boys who you go to their house and you see angels. It's like they have wings in Halo. And then I was going for a jog, my morning jog. And then I saw them in their playground. They didn't see me. The language that was coming out of their mouth, I couldn't believe it was the same two boys. So this goes to show that they actually fooled their parents into thinking they were angels. Parents have to be more what? Vigilant and careful and monitor children. Don't babysit them, especially when they get older, right? What you do is monitor what they are looking at, monitor who their friends are, and move on from there. Okay? That's the answer to that.
Arunji,
Yeah.
and accessory to that, what you said is that they would fool their parents. But isn't it also right that the actions of fooling parents later on will come back to you?
Of course.
So
You can't escape that. When you try to bluff someone, sooner or later what?
comes back.
It's going to backfire. It's a natural law. You see, we can't do something wrong and not get away with it. It is a natural law of the universe. So you might as well live straightforward. You might as well do your best today. Why? Because you want to guarantee yourself a brighter future. You understand? Okay. Okay. Yes,
Can
please.
you request people to speak on the
Yes, yes. Yes, so whoever has a question, well, we're not up to that level yet, but if you have a comment, use the mic, yeah? Okay. So, Acharya Ji, please explain action in action and inaction in action. This is the, I know who, I won't tell you who asked this question, but this is a question that is the essence of Vedanta and the Bhagavad Gita. All 18 chapters, 700 verses go into answering this one question. In a nutshell, I'll try to do so. Action in action basically means when the body, mind, and intellect is thrusted into action based on your vasanas or your inherent tendencies, inherent desires. That is us going into what? Karma or action, isn't that true? But then what does action in inaction mean? While the body, mind, and intellect conglomerate is going about its normal functions in life, what is that one thing that is seemingly inactive? It is the self. That's why people meditate on that. No matter how crazy your day goes, no matter how crazy the people around you are, if you take the time just to literally chill out, okay? Like Parama Atma. Parama Atma, you know what Parama Atma does? He is just the witness. I said he just to make it clear and picture it to you. Yeah? He is just the witness, like the sun is the witness of everything that goes on. When the sun rises over France during that aftermath of all that thing, did it cry one day? Did it go into depression? It continued to do what? Shine. When there's a big celebration because a new president of the United States, Donald Trump, was elected. Was the sun crying on that day? No, the sun was not crying on that day. It simply was a witness. The witness principle in every individual is this, the Paramatma. It is the essence of all beings, and it does absolutely nothing but what? Shine. What that shine is, we'll never know, unless we have aparoksha anubhuti, or what? Direct realization of it. And how do we do that? Through shravana, manana, nididhyasana. Through study, contemplation, and abidance in that. Only then do we really understand what it means to be inactive. So action in action means, while all of this is happening, and we know this by now because we spent 7 days on it, this is inactive seemingly. Then, inaction, which means this Paramatma remains again as the witness. Inaction, inaction. So both of these statements, action, inaction, and inaction, is basically the same thing but reversed. First, action, inaction. Body, mind, and intellect thrusted into action based on the essential, based on vasanas, but fueled by the essence, which is the witness only. Inaction means it is seemingly inactive, but this body, mind, and intellect continues to move by this power. Got it? That itself is the crux of Bhagavad Gita. How do we realize this to be true? You have to go through the Gita and find out. Okay? So let's get rid of this one. Okay, next question. How to keep the negative energy away? How to protect from negative people who you cannot avoid? Okay? So here's the thing. When you're around people, it's true. You have different energies. They give off different energies. Some people are pleasant, some people are not so pleasant. Some people you don't want to see, some people you want to see. But here's the thing. In this world, it's not guaranteed to be a bed of roses. People are going to come into your life unexpectedly, and sometimes those people are not the best of people. But do you think it's worthwhile when people are not so good to get bent out of shape because of them?
No.
To get bent out of shape because of their negative energy? With whatever words they come to you with, whether it be negative words, talking down on someone, do you think you should really listen to them?
No.
See, you should know your self-worth. Don't go by Facebook and how many likes you have. Okay, if I went that route, I'd have been depressed because I don't get one like for my pictures. Just kidding. I can't lie here, it's a temple. Okay, so this is the thing. We base our self-worth based on who? The next person. What you have to do in life is get to know yourself first. And then you are guaranteed to have the highest of self-worth. Because you know what you're about, right? You know what you're about, you know what you can do, and you know that the other person's words are just words. You should always think high of yourself, no matter how low someone else thinks of you. Okay? How to protect yourself from negative people who you cannot avoid. Again, if you can't avoid them, you simply have to put up a shield. They're around you, that's okay. But don't let them suck your energy away. Right? That is like a vampire coming at night and taking your blood away. Don't even let them. Shut the window. And what is the window? The window is simply turn a deaf ear. A person who has nothing nice to say shouldn't be saying it at all. But sometimes that is too simple. What you have to do is be so positive, so steeped in spirituality. You know, chanting the Hanuman Chalisa does this. It gives you strength that you cannot believe. Atulita Baladharma is called Hanumanji, the storehouse of strength. And when you finally link yourself, click that Hanumanji app in your life, when you look at that, nobody or nothing can affect you negatively ever again. Okay? Alright. When you say the world depends on each of us, how can that be? Okay? When you say the world depends on each of us, how can that be? Isn't it that there are forces of destiny which overpower our will? We went over that. Isn't it a manifestation of ego to believe that we are dependent on this world? Yes. So, here's the thing. If you are dependent, if you think the world is dependent on you, then you have an ego problem. Okay? But if you study Vedanta, what is your essential nature? This. Remember we said in the times of Hitler, what did Hitler used to say? Worship me, I am God. Did he say that?
Mm-hmm.
But Vedanta says the same thing. Worship me, I am God. So what is the difference? Hitler existed on this level. On this level and on this level. Therefore, he wanted to alter objects in his life. He had the most negative emotions and the most evil of thoughts. Because he thought of himself, the I, which is the small I, the ego, the individual, to be himself. Therefore, worship me, he said. But Bhagavan Krishna says the same thing. But when Bhagavan Krishna says it, what is he saying? Worship me, which is the essence of everyone. See, if you drill down, like Microsoft Excel, right? You drill down, drill down, drill down. When you drill down from the body to the mind to the intellect, drill down further, okay, you see your vasanas? Drill down further. What is that thing that allows you to see all of this in the first place? What is that thing that allows all of this to be? Remember we saw that Satchit Ananda means what? The existence principle between everything. For example, we gave the example, right? Harmonium is made of what? Carbon is wood, right? What is wood made of? Carbon, phosphorus, and so on. What is carbon, phosphorus, and so on made of? Protons, neutrons, and electrons. What is protons, neutrons, and electrons? Energy. Matter. Okay? Now, what is the underlying thing in energy? How does it exist? Because of what? Existence. That existence is what you really are. But what happened in our life? We got trapped here. Now going back to the question, right? Where is it? Isn't it a manifestation of ego to believe that we are dependent on by this world? We are dependent on by this world? No. Why? Because everything is dependent on what? The ego?
No.
The human being? Or Paramatma? If existence isn't there, there goes everything. Remember we said? How can I point over there and say there is nothing there? That is a grammatically incorrect statement. The mere fact that the verb is there means what?
It is there.
That there is something there, but it is what? Unseen. That invisible existence is Paramatma. So when we say the world is dependent on me, we're saying the world is dependent really on that for existence, just like we are. When you say the world depends on each of us, yes, how can that be? Isn't it that we are forces? Yes, so you answered that, okay? Okay, next question. I find myself encountering setbacks in daily practice. Can you recommend techniques for perseverance? Right. So daily practice, I'm taking it, you mean sadhana, okay? Or it could be daily practices of anything in life. So let's look at the sadhana route. Let's say this person feels that he is encountering setbacks in sadhana. What is sadhana? Sadhana means what? Any spiritual practice that takes you where? To the higher goal. For example, meditation is sadhana. When I can sit in a quiet place and harness my thoughts, that is sadhana. If that is not happening, understand that you are either in a place that is not conducive for sadhana, or you have more control over the mind to do. And how do you control the mind? You simply have to get involved in selfless action. I had a wonderful conversation with Pranavi this morning, and she said, why is the order karma, bhakti, and then jnana? Why isn't it bhakti, karma, and then jnana? In order to have knowledge or love for the Paramatma, how should your mind be? It has to be in a state of calmness and peace. Isn't that true? Think about the last time you were confused, or the last time your mind was just in a different place, right? Could you function in life? No. As a matter of fact, you try to study and your mind is somewhere else because it's confused, or depressed, or anxious. You try to even study one page. Guess what? You'll be on that page for 10 years. Isn't that true? Hasn't that ever happened to you? See, the thing is, when we are going to practice spirituality, we must make sure our minds are at a certain level. And the way we get our minds to that level is we do something that is selfless. Do something that makes you happy and makes the world happy. When that happens, guess what? Your mind is taken away from your selfish problems, your desires within that cause these problems in the first place. And you're aiming to do what? Spread your happiness or spread your ability to help to another person who has a problem. You remember when I told you about Kishkindakanda? And I said, what did it say? You should treat your neighbor's problems like a mountain and look at your problems like a speck of dust. How does that happen? When I aim to help another person with his problem or her problem, guess what? My problems seem minuscule. When my problems seem minuscule, it actually allows my thoughts to be harnessed. It actually allows me to stop. And what is stop? You know the stop methodology by now. And then I move on with my life. You see that? When I move on with anything, I automatically do what? Persevere through anything in life. So the first step is, see what you're good at. Second, apply it to the world. Third, help as many people as you can. I remember when my father passed away in 2009, it was very tough. And I went back to work 2 weeks later. And you know what my boss said? We're going to give you so much work that you're going to forget all about that. And you know, it worked. When I took my mind off of it through some sort of karma, anything, but it's even better when you love what you do. That itself harnesses your thoughts, calms you down, and you're able to go into bhakti and then learn about the higher. So that's the only way, in my opinion, through karma yoga, through selfless action, calming the mind through that, and taking your problems away from you. Why? Because you see another person has a bigger problem. This is the way to persevere. Okay, we'll take a halftime break. And Balu Uncle has something to say, and then we'll continue with the questions.
Hari Om. On behalf of the coordinating team consisting of Renu Chokshi, Kathy Bhatt, Anya Bharadwaj and myself, I hope you had a good week. I think everything went very smooth, except barring a couple of small incidents. We didn't take good care of Arunji when he came on the first day. We didn't have enough heat for him. We regret that and hope the next time we will not make the same mistake. A couple of people had some problems entering into the building. We had to keep the doors locked because of security concerns. Again, we'll try to make that arrangement next time. Otherwise, I think we will all agree that everything went rather smooth. I'd like to thank, on behalf of the coordinating team, Swamiji for his detailed planning and his guidance to make everything go properly. I have a few more people to thank. Thank Dr. Srinivas Iyer for the facilities that we have here. And then Anup, Swapna, and Kiran, they put in a lot of untiring efforts to make a lot of things happen. Thank all the volunteers that provided breakfast, lunch, and dinner bhikshas. Thanks to Sonal Dabba and her family for doing the videotaping of portions of the proceedings. Thanks to Tanuja for all the help and also in selling the CDs. And Shekhar Kumate, Dani, and Balaji for tabla support. Thanks also to Balaji and Anup. The very little free time that Arunji had, they didn't let him rest. They took him around. Thanks for that. And all these things would not have happened except for the wonderful presentation by Arunji. I don't know how he did it. I picked him up at the airport last Saturday. He had just arrived in New York on Friday and then took a rather long trip from there to LA, going to Washington and coming here.
You're very unqualified to receive that from you, but it was received with a good heart. Thank you very much.
Do you put your schedule on the website?
That is a secret.
Facebook.
Okay, let's continue. Yeah, it's on Facebook. Okay. Alright, so you defined the curse on Thursday as a mindset. How do you define a boon? Curse means someone who talks down to you. Anyone who does that. And unfortunately in this world, a lot of people will, especially when you start working. When you go into that corporate world at first, very cutthroat place. But then you find your niche and then you climb, right? Nothing is easy at first because you have to deal with new people, new places, and new things. A boon, however, or a blessing, is someone who comes into your life and does what? He offers you a good word, he encourages you, and he takes you up, or under his wing even, takes you to the level that you need to be. See, this world is full of people who will bring you down. But when you can finally be in the company of that person, or those people who will take you up and elevate you, that is the highest blessing. You need nothing less. Okay? Right. Since Radha isn't mentioned, what or who is Radha in respect to Krishna? Radha's name wasn't mentioned, but she's in the Bhagavatam as Aradhana. You'll see that word many times. And Aradhana means simply what? Worship. Right? So Radha was not Krishna's girlfriend. People mix that up tremendously. Radha was Krishna himself. In what? Bhakti form. You see, someone has to show us not only what not to do, but what to do. Radha was Sri Krishna's own incarnation. Do you know another name for one of the incarnations of Krishna that was a woman? Mohini. Mohini avatar came to what? Delude some people, right? Especially the asuras who were trying to take that Amrit for themselves. In this avatar, he came as Aradhana, Radha, to show us how to love the Lord, to show us how to care for the Lord, and honestly, to show us how to have Sharanagati towards the Paramatma. Remember, it's not physical Krishna you're looking at. In the Bhagavad Gita, when Sri Krishna says, "Come to me, worship me," and so on, what is he really talking about? Worship of the Supreme Reality. So, Radha symbolizes actually a realized master who becomes one with Krishna, which is the self. Right? Okay, what's the next question? Okay. A couple of nights ago, you explained that if someone cheats on us or loses our trust, they will do it again. But if I'm the person who cheated someone else, right? Once, can I ever earn their trust again? If I was the person who deceived. So this person, we're not going to name names, of course. This person is the deceiver. Now, can that person ever be trusted again? Maybe, or maybe not. Depends on the person you have deceived. There's no straight cut answer to that one. See, for me personally, if someone deceives me, I may give a second chance based on some behavioral changes that I have to see beforehand. You see? But if those requirements aren't met, guess what? I am not trusting. But that's just my personal thing. Other people may give a second chance right away. Some give a third chance. But as I said before, we all have a chance to recover ourselves. Remember, every saint was a sinner. Every saint has a past. And every what? Sinner has a future. Not every saint was a sinner. Every saint has a past. It could be good or bad. And every sinner, remember, has a chance to recover himself. But what do you have to show? You have to show signs of what? Change first, for you to gain back the trust that you lost. So what is the lesson? Don't deceive and don't what? Lose the trust of especially people who love you. Especially people who love you. People who showed you care. People who show you care and show you just goodness overall. Try your best never to deceive such a person. Okay? Alright.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
I think my observation, especially in business world,
Balaji, one sec.
I think my observation in business world,
Mm.
I think back in India, you really have to work hard to win trust. Nobody will trust you on the face.
Mm.
Here, they trust you until you betray them. So it's reverse here.
That's a good point. Did you hear what Balaji said? He said, people back then, in those days, or in India, you have to build their trust before they trust you. Now we trust too quickly. Okay? This is the thing. Comment? Yeah.
Shishupala was given 100 chances by Mr. Krishna.
He was given. Then what happened at the end?
So give it to
He
you.
cut his head off. He had the biggest headache after that.
Vivek was given, Shishupal was given.
So he had 100 chances, but that's Bhagavan. We need tremendous yogification before we can attain that Bhagavan status. Alright? Okay. Here we go. Question. How does one properly focus a distracted mind during meditation? Okay? So I went over this morning actually with the meditation group. What you have to do, according to chapter 6 of the Bhagavad Gita, is you have to find a place that is what? Conducive. The temperature in the room has to be right. The fan has to be a certain speed if it's too hot, right? The fan has to be turned off if it's too cold. The asana that you're sitting on can't be too thick. Nowadays we want like this beanbag asanas. You need to have an asana that's about 2 inches and relatively thin, so your posture is good. Then once you have a good posture, you stay at 90 degrees on the